These are your triangle inequality notes, and if you are taking these and watching the video, that means that you have already done your straws lab, where you have used straws to try to create triangles that were 2, 2, 2. If you did this correctly, you should have ended up with 3 no's in this column. So if you have more than that, you need to go back and check your answers. So then down at the very, very bottom, it said, in order for a triangle to be constructed, the sum of the smaller 2 sides must be, and then you would have used whatever you got in this column, either greater than, less than, or equal to. And if it was yes, then it was obviously greater than. So if you flip that over onto the back, we can use what you guys figured out to determine triangles. So determine if the following sides will make a triangle. If yes, then classify by sides. So we have to pick out the 2 smaller sides, 8 and 9. So then 8 plus 9 has to be greater than 10. Well, if I add 8 and 9 together, I get 17 is greater than 10. So yes, this would make a triangle. And since all 3 sides are different, this would be a scalene triangle. So the same thing here, 1, 1, 2. Out of those, 1 and 1 are the smaller 2 sides. So 1 plus 1 has to be greater than 2. Well, we get that 2 has to be greater than 2. Well, that's not true. They're equal, but they're not greater. So this would be no. Since it's no, we can't classify the triangle because it doesn't make a triangle. So we do the same thing. 6 plus 6 is supposed to be greater than 10. So that's 12 is greater than 10, which it is. So that would be yes. So we would now classify this one as isosceles because 2 sides are the same. So now you can do the last 2 problems. Okay. So moving this up, we're going to talk about the hinge theorem, and it says in a triangle, the largest side is opposite the largest angle, and the smallest side is opposite the smallest angle. Opposite kind of just means across from. So if I'm looking at this triangle, it says that angle A is 120 degrees. And it says that B is 40 degrees and C is 20 degrees. So the largest side is supposed to be across from the largest angle. Well, the largest angle is A. The side that is across from that is BC. And then remember, since we're talking about a side, we always put our segment sign over the top. The smallest side would be across from the smallest angle, which is 20 degrees. So we would have to go across from it, which would be over here, to BA. The other part to notice is we said the largest angle was angle A. Notice the letters that were left that we hadn't used were BC. Down here, the angle was angle C, and the letters that we hadn't used were B and A. So ABC, ABC. When you're doing this, you shouldn't repeat. Okay? And then I also kind of wanted to show you an example of how it works. We're going to use this kind of as an example so that the 2 points here make the angle. So if I start with a really small angle like this, then if I connect this far side, notice it doesn't make a very big side. But as the angle gets bigger, we have to stretch the string out further and further to connect them. So as my angle got bigger, my side got bigger. Does that make sense? So then if I make it even bigger, if I stretch it all the way out like this, now I would have to stretch our string all the way across here like this. So the angle determines the size of the side. That's why it's called the hinge theorem. So if I make this small again, now our side is also small. So kind of think about that. That's what the hinge theorem means, is that it's kind of like a door. As you open the door more, the opening for you to walk into gets bigger. So now you guys try example 7 on your own. You would classify it by sides first, and then you'll put the angles in order. So remember, the angle will be across from the side. So I am going to help you on 8. 8 says list the sides, this is important, the sides of ABC in order from longest to shortest. So the first thing that we need to do is find x. Well, these are angles. We should recognize that in a triangle, the angles should add up to 180. So we could draw a picture if we wanted to of triangle ABC. Again, it doesn't matter where you put things. It says A down here, this angle is 10x. Angle B is 5x minus 17. And C is 7x minus 1. So if I was going to set up an equation, I would say that the measure of angle A plus the measure of angle B plus the measure of angle C should add up to 180 degrees. So if I fill that in, A is 10x plus B, which is 5x minus 17, plus C, which is 7x minus 1, and then that equals 180 degrees. So now I'm going to do a method that I've shown several of you, but if you're struggling with algebra, this works. I want you to move everything with an x to the left and everything that's a number to the right. And if you cross the equal sign, you change the sign. So 10x would go or stay. It's an x, so it would stay, and I don't cross the equal sign. 5x would stay, so I leave it here. But negative 17 would go on the other side because it's a number. So I cross the equal sign, it changes signs. So it goes from negative to positive. 7x would stay. And then the negative 1 would go, and because we cross the equal sign, it would become positive 1. And then 180 is a number, so it would stay, and we didn't cross the equal sign, so it stays. So now if I combine like terms, 10 plus 5 would be 15, and then 15 plus 7 would be 22. So I have 22x on this side, and then 17 plus 1 plus 180 is 198. So now if I divide by 22, I would get that x is 9. So now I go back and it says list the sides in order. Well, all I found was x. That's not what they asked me for. So now I'm going to go back and plug x in. So the measure of angle A is 10x. Well, if I plug that in, that's 10 times my x value is 9. So this is 90 degrees. So I didn't draw this very accurate if that's 90 degrees, but I didn't know. So now we do the measure of angle B, which is 5x minus 17. So I could put that in the calculator, 5 times 9 in parentheses minus 17. And we get 28. And then the measure of angle C is 7x minus 1. So if I replace the x, that's 7 times 9 minus 1. So that's 63 minus 1, so 62 degrees. So now we check. Did we answer the question? List the sides in order. Well, I could list the angles in order from largest to smallest. So I would do angle A, and then angle C, and then angle B. But it says list the sides. So now, which side is across from angle A? So if I go this way, I would do B and C. Then which side is across from angle C? So that's this one, so it would be over here. So that's A and B. And then which side is across from angle B? Well, that goes from up here. So it would be A to C. So now we have actually listed the sides in order from longest to shortest.